Hi, this is a short video about the Lancer. This is the progress, and just to point out some interesting tidbits as we are now. The motor's out, obviously the body is off. I was able to trace this frame back to we knew it was a Studebaker Champion frame because it had the four lug wheels. And when I interacted with the Studebaker Museum, we were able to trace it back to a 1940. We know that because there's no bar underneath the leaf spring like they had in 41. And it also has this isolator, which is it's this piece. Normally it would just be one arm, and they added in a piece in 1940 to isolate shocks from the road from the steering wheel. So we've made this so it's for sure a 1940. You can see here's where the original frame was cut to make the Lancer design. One thing that's kind of unfortunate for me, I was going to take out this transmission and reseal it, and it's obvious that they put the transmission in and then built the wood on top of it. So as much as I didn't want to take any of this wood off, I'm going to have to, and it's too much work to not put new seals in it, have it run, and then have it immediately leak because the seals are 70 years old and they haven't been used in 50 of those years. Here is the only tag that I found on the car. It was obviously added on. When it's in place, the fan is right here. You can barely see it. It's really inconvenient, and I haven't found any other identification anywhere else. The nice thing about the fiberglass cars is you have, once the body's off, you can pretty much access everything. I'm going to go through all this. A lot of the sheathing is on the wires of old and cracked. If I bend the wires, they just break. But this is probably going to be the easiest car I've ever rewired, just because of this, how wide open it is, obviously. Interesting things to note. We got these inner wheel wells are made out of cardboard. You can see they're cardboard and then have fiberglass over them. It's kind of interesting. It's actually a very small passenger compartment, which is kind of weird because this is probably a 7-passenger car that was modified and now is barely a 2-passenger car. And there's no, I looked into moving the seat backs, but there's no, you're already right at, this is the wheel well. There isn't any room really to move back very far. Although he does have these giant storage cubbies. And speaking of which, there is the largest glove box I've ever seen in my life. But I might still try to modify this to get like another 2 inches would be pretty fantastic to get out of this car. I don't think that's going to be possible. And then Jeff, as we were talking, there's the blue paint that is under the red. One thing I have to take care of is you have these rivets here. It's an aluminum support. It's used to strengthen the body, and then there was ties from that to the frame. But you can see the aluminum's corroded. So these are both going to have to be removed and taken care of all the way down. Otherwise, this car is actually in very nice shape. I obviously want to replace a bunch of this rubber stuff. This rubber insulation for the body is in poor condition, as you'd expect for 70 years old, obviously. Pretty obviously, it's never been in an accident or anything. It usually shows pretty well in the fiberglass. But there you go. There's your short walkthrough on the progress we are at right now. This the frame I'm going to bring it over to another shop that I work out of where it'll have more room. It's here basically because I needed a place to put this body. It just needs to be somewhere. And then after that, I will bring the chassis back painted and fixed, and then the body will go back onto the frame. and from there it'll get paint and interior. But there you go. That's all I have for now.